You've probably seen the Galaxy S25 FE unboxing, but I guarantee you've not seen this one because most videos skip details that actually affect your day-to-day. You might even be shocked by what we discover. And taking a look at the box here, it's rather simple. It's the same design we've all come to know and love. And one thing here is that at the top, this is how you can actually know what color the phone is. This here, which is a blue, which shows that this is the navy, which is a nice little Easter egg if you're not familiar. And the rest of the box is just the same. So with editing magic, let's get inside. And the first thing is just like how nice it is in this navy blue color here. I really like this color. This is my favorite color by far. Going into the box here, and we get some other things here, such as the SIM card ejector tool, USB-C to USB-C cable, manuals that I know you're never going to read, and finally the phone here in this nice blue color that I really like. And well, that was a fail. Now that's more like it. Turning on the phone here, we can point out some of the changes that has come to the S25 FE this year. And yeah, it's got those slimmer bezels. Here, it's also got enhanced armor aluminum frame. And also it's lighter. It's now 190 grams versus the 213 gram that we have on the S24 FE. So definitely this has lost a lot of weight here. Here also you have very slim bezels around the phone now. So this is nice for people who finally have such a nice one. And of course we'll get to the comparison with the S24 FE physically, but let me quickly set up the phone right here. And when setting up here on Samsung services, it asks to enable auto blocker, which I always suggest you turn off, because if you want to install apps and if you want to do anything advanced, I always turn this off. But if you want maximum security, of course, and you're never going to fiddle with your phone, then you can turn this back on. But for me, because I'm a much more advanced user, and if you are, I suggest you turn off auto blocker here. And on getting into the phone here after setup, we have this same 6.7-inch AMOLED display. It's got 120 Hertz refresh rate, but sadly, the refresh rates that we get here, if we go into the display, is not LTPO, which is the display that you're able to go from like 1 Hertz to all the way to 120. It's actually either 60 or 120 Hertz, I think, is the display technology here. So if you're sensitive to that, that might be something you want to look at. But we did get some improvements here. It's now Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, which is designed to definitely offer more protection from scratches and all of that, which will be nice to hear here on the S25 FE. Going on into the processor and the chip here, you've got the Exynos 2400, which is in this FE. Now, compared to last year's FE, which I also have here, would you believe it? Last year's S24 FE, which I really like this phone. This one had the S200E, Exynos 2400E, compared to the Exynos 2400 on the S25 FE. Now, what's the difference? The difference is that it's more higher clocked here on the S25 FE, and also Samsung bumped up the vapor chamber size. I think it's 14%. So for real life tests, if you want me to do gaming tests on this, let me know what games you want me to test or what specific apps you want me to try here, and I'll be more than happy to check them out. Going on to the battery and charging, you have 4900 milliampere battery here, which is not the biggest, I would say. I think even the A series is bigger than this, but it's a healthy improvement over the previous one, which I believe was 4500 or 4600, something like that. So you definitely get a little bigger improvement in battery here. Now, one of the big changes here on the S25 FE is the charging speed. So you now get 45 watts charging, which is great, which means that you do have fast charging, and the fast charging here is not that, dog shit 25 watts that we've been used to for such a long time. So that is definitely great here. So when it comes to just the vapor cooling chamber, that is much bigger here. So if the previous last year's overheated, and to be honest, the S24 FE did not really overheat for me. The S23 FE though, that boy was a hot boy, I'll tell you that for sure. But this phone, I think, should build on top of that, which is good news, I'll tell you that. And also when we go to the cameras here, sadly the cameras are still the same from the S24 FE, which is is it disappointing? It's the same thing we had on the S25 Ultra from the S24 Ultra as well. So I think it's been Samsung's thing for a while. Even the A55 to the A56, same thing. The difference here though is that the front camera got an upgrade. So the front camera now has the, I believe, much wider selfie camera, which is great to have here on the S25 FE. And I think it also has a much wider field of view as well. And of course, there are still the limitations. Like if you go into the camera setting here and you go into 8K, you still only have one X camera. You don't have multiple cameras that you can select. And even if you go into the UHD 60, for example, you're still locked out to just the 1X camera. It does say 1X and 2X, but it's still the main camera it's using. And you have to step down to the 30 UHD 30 to be able to get all the cameras, which I would have wished that they did not lock that there, that you could easily switch all the camera. But these are the camera quirks that I quickly noticed immediately that I started using this. And one thing that I like here is that it's got One UI 8. It's the first Galaxy S series, if you would believe it, that actually ships with One UI 8, which is amazing that, yeah, it's on a FE device of all places, right? Like, I think for the other devices, it's going to only come at a later time. I believe on the 19th of September is when Samsung told us that it will come. But because of that One UI, and because this is a FE device that has, you know, the cheapest, or according to Samsung, the cheapest Samsung device that has all the Galaxy AI features, you do get Galaxy AI here. So you've got all the Galaxy AI, especially all the, not only the generative stuff, but all of the other stuff like circle to search, you know, photo and generative assist, transcript assist, and some of my other favorites that I'll dive into in another video. So you've got all of that here. Let me know if circle to search is something that you actually care about. Moving on to connectivity here, I think here you've got Wi-Fi 6E, you've got IP68 water and dust resistance, which is great if you're someone who happens to have butterfingers and, you know, this might drop out of your hands. I'll tell you for sure that phones have gotten so much better when it comes to durability, and most of the time if a phone falls down, I don't immediately think that, oh, this phone is gone. So that's something nice to have here. When it comes to the port placement, actually, there's been quite a bit of difference. I'll tell you that. So if we go on to the top, for example, you can see that on the S24 FE, S25 FE, you can see it's different. The SIM card tray has actually moved where it has moved to the bottom here on the S25 FE. Sorry, I flipped it, and this is the S24 FE. It has actually flipped to the bottom. So there are some changes. It's not just that they just, you know, made a few differences. And of course, we still have the bezels there. So the bezels here have definitely gotten like so much thinner, as you can see here on the S25 FE, which is the one on my right. It's gotten so much thinner, and it just looks, I think, a lot more sleek. And yeah, when it comes to just the phone, I would say it looks and feels so much better than when I got the S24 FE last year, and, you know, it had those ugly chins. And to be honest, there's still a chin here. Fair enough, but it's not as massive as the one on the S24 FE. I'll tell you that for sure. So moving into, you know, my final first impressions, I would say that there's been so many changes here. And starting with the display, I never noticed that I will, well, notice just how thin and light it's gotten. And would you believe it? It's actually even thinner and lighter than the Galaxy A56, which is a much cheaper device. So when it comes to build quality here, the S25 FE has been really revamped. The display also has that new design here with slimmer bezels, still the same inches, so maybe I would have wanted it bigger because, you know, bigger is better, which is actually the case for the vapor chamber now that has been included here, which means that there should be less worries about maximum performance here on the S25 FE. Cameras have still remained the same, which is quite sad, but I know that Samsung has been known to pull some magic with software updates. And speaking of those updates, you get 7 years of both OS and security updates here on the Galaxy S25 FE, which is fantabulous. And who is this phone for? Well, I would say if you're someone who wants all of the Galaxy AI features, because that's definitely the main thing about this phone here, at an affordable price, and thankfully now at a much better design than, say, the last year's version, and you've not already bought the last year's version, and you don't have the last year's version at a great deal that you cannot ignore, then the S25 FE here might just be for you, because I think the Galaxy S25 FE is the ultimate form of refinement of what Samsung has been trying to do with the FE line. Of course, there's been some compromises here and there, but overall, I'll say you're still getting a solid package here. Now, over to you. What do you think of this phone? Is this something that you'll go for? Do you prefer, say, the S24 FE instead right here, or even the Galaxy A56? Let me know down there in the comments below. And I really appreciate you making it all the way here. Since you're already here, consider becoming a member, get some exclusive behind the scenes, and you get to support me for what I do here. And other than that, make sure you text me when you get home so I know you got home safe. Also, watch out for tapir. They're actually bigger than they appear and they're endangered, so let's protect them. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. I appreciate you always. And for this one, I'm just building on a kind of the color grading and the text effects and my own font that I have. And I'm so happy with how the videos are turning out. I'm not going to lie. Like I love where I am right now. I have so many videos in the drafts that I've shot. I've yet to publish. I've yet to edit, but if I can get to them, so much wonderful stuff coming to the channel. For the iPhone 17 Pro Max, I did not order it, and I will, as I do every year, request for a review unit from Apple. I've not gotten any so far, but I'll request for one anyway. But normally I would go ahead and buy it, but this year, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it, especially because I have so much to do. And if I were to then buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max and it came in this new week, that means I have even more things to do, and I already have stuff that I've not done. So you know what, I'm not rushing. My mantra here on the channel here is not to rush anyway. I mean, look at when I'm publishing this video, right? Like, it's already late in quotes, but what I have found is that it's never late when it's what it's supposed to be, which means that I also don't need to have this artificial pressure of trying to do something just because I have to get there on time. I can just take my time, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And if it's going to work out, whether it's a sponsor that, you know, sends me an iPhone 17 Pro Max, or I get it from Apple, or maybe I even buy it will work out. All right, enough about me. How have you been? Hope you've been good. What have you been excited about? Please let me know all of those things and more, because of course I want to know. So leave hashtag I want to know, so I know you made it all the way to the end of the video in your comments. And please take care of yourself. All right, bye.